Everyone, as Judy just said, I'm Anna Hankins. I'm a senior at Wachusett Regional High School in Holden, Massachusetts, which is right outside of Worcester, Massachusetts. And to begin, I would just like to thank everyone who's part of the Teens Turning Green team for allowing me to be here today. You are the most wonderful people I have ever met. And I would like to congratulate all the other finalists. It is such an honor to be among you. You guys are spectacular. And I would like to quickly thank my dad, who flew all the way from Massachusetts to see my presentation. Okay, so all of you who have been with me the last 2 days know that I am water crazy. I wish I could put my passion for water into better words, but I'm just going to try my best. I think water is the coolest substance in the whole entire world. And the nights that I wasn't dreaming about coming to Green University, I was dreaming about being an agricultural hydrologist. I think that water is amazing because every water issue, from privatization to pollution, is such an interdisciplinary issue that it's a social issue, an environmental issue, an economic issue, and a political issue. And in order to come up with solutions, you need interdisciplinary solutions. And that idea just really fascinates me. And my dream is to study aquifer depletion in relationship to our food industry and groundwater contamination in relationship to our pesticide use. And I want to be a scientist, but I want to be an activist, so I can use my knowledge to change these industries and ultimately change the world. So before Project Green Challenge began, I kept saying that when I go to college, I will be this big environmental activist. And then when I go to grad school, people will want to listen to me. And then when I get my PhD, I will change the world. But what Project Green Challenge taught me was I didn't need to wait for anything. I could do all of this right now, and in fact, I was going to. So it needed to all start with my life and my changes, and through these, I could change the entire world. So it was simple changes. It was putting all of my conventional cosmetic products in a bag, and they're currently living there until Toxic Collection Day in April. Yes, let's just take a second to ponder the fact that my shampoo is being collected on Toxic Waste Collection Day. And then I got organic products, and I could actually read all of the ingredients, and that was amazing. But really, before Project Green Challenge, I was spending so much time and so much energy thinking and worrying about the water pollution in India, about the melting of the ice caps, about the hydraulic fracturing happening on the Marcellus Shale plate, but I wasn't spending enough time thinking and worrying about the plastic bag that I was using in my lunch, and about the social and environmental implications that my conventional clothing products have. So I needed to change those so I could change the bigger picture too. So Jane Goodall is my absolute idol, and I needed to include her in my presentation because I feel like she's one of the biggest inspirations in my life. And she said that change happens by listening and then starting a dialogue with the people who are doing something you don't believe is right. And I really use that as my motto throughout all of Project Green Challenge. I've been a writer for my school newspaper, The Echo, since my freshman year in high school, but this year I learned how to use my voice in this new and unique way. I wrote 3 different editorials throughout Project Green Challenge. One was on the importance of young voters in the presidential and senatorial elections. And then I also wrote one on what Wachusett Regional High School has done to go green and what we haven't done at all. And then I also wrote one on the consumer society that seems to engulf the lives of young people. And unfortunately, they haven't all been published yet, so I couldn't put them up here. But through these articles, I was able to have conversations with my principal, vice principal, the manager of my school cafeteria, and a ton of different teachers and a ton of different students from every grade. And now that I've had these really simple sit-down conversations, I understand how to bring about change. It wasn't intimidating. They know where I'm coming from, and I know where they're coming from. And now I think we can meet somewhat in the middle and really make change happen in my school. I also had the amazing opportunity to go to a green cleaning workshop that happened to take place right in the middle of Project Green Challenge at a local school. So I learned how to make all these amazing products that are so much safer than any other product that you buy at the store. And now that I know this, I can teach other people. And that is truly the heart of Project Green Challenge. You need to learn and teach, and then you need to learn some more. Okay, so one of the biggest obstacles that I had to overcome throughout Project Green Challenge was that my education was not a standardized test score, and it was not just about my calculus homework. It was about my closet, it was about my food, it was about my cosmetics, and it was about my clothing. And it was really tough at first because I was just so caught up in my senior year of high school and applying to college and my grades, and I had to realize that Project Green Challenge was so crucial to my well-being and the well-being of the people around me. So I learned that my education could come from anywhere, and in fact, it does come from everywhere. When I started Project Green Challenge and I learned about all these environmental problems, I was like, I can never buy food ever again. And I can't buy clothes, and I can't buy electronics, and I can't buy paper. And I was a little bit distressed. But then I was like, it's not about saying no to everything. It's about saying yes. I'm gonna go GMO free, I'm saying yes to that, and I'm saying yes to fair trade. And it's about continuing to say yes to people. And if someone tells me no, it's about saying yes again. So, I've been most excited to talk about the style challenge, which is something that I didn't think when I started Project Green Challenge. I'm not a stylish person. I never cared about the brand of clothing I was wearing. I was all for like simple and just conventional and easy. Until Project Green Challenge. I realized that all of my clothing purchases had these huge environmental and social implications and economic implications and political implications, and I needed to do something about that. So I went through my wardrobe and I realized I didn't own any organic cotton. And I realized that probably not a lot of my friends did either. So I started to educate people, and I discovered how awesome my local thrift store is, and I knew that my days of conventional shopping were done, completely over. My friends and I started Ugly Sweater Wednesday, and we go to the thrift store, and it's just so much fun, but it's also a great way to learn. But then it didn't just stop there. I decided that I would do a clothing drive because I thought that it would be a great way to keep clothing out of landfills and redistribute items to people who desperately need them. So I talked to my local library because I wanted to make this a community effort, and I thought the library was a great place to do that. And I just put out a simple box, because they were so generous to let me do this. And I didn't think anyone was going to notice it. I thought that people were going to walk past it every day, and maybe I would get a few bags of clothing. But I promised the library that I would go every single day to make sure it never overflowed. Little did I know, every day that I went, it was completely overflowing. I wish I had taken more pictures, but it was overflowing, and I think I gained some muscle, like carrying all the bags out, because it was a struggle. But this was after only 2 weeks. I thought that I was only going to keep the clothing drive going for 2 weeks because that's when the challenge ended and I had to submit it. But I ended up keeping it going until like a week and a half ago because people kept donating, and I didn't think I could take it away because if people are going to help me and help other people, how can I say no to that? So I started sorting all the clothes and going through them, and it was kind of an insight to this consumer world we live in too, because if you can donate 4 or 5 bags of clothes that still have tags on it, then that's a problem with our society. We just continue to consume, and that would have been thrown away or not touched ever again. So I got tons of shoes too, and it was absolutely incredible. And I ended up donating all the clothing to Abby's House, which is a shelter for women in Worcester, Massachusetts. And I also, by donating the clothes to Abby's House, I touched on an amazing social problem too, and I realized how interconnected everything is. If I could make a difference in a social problem in Worcester, then I could make a difference in an environmental problem. And it's all a fluid motion of change, and it would all happen naturally. Well, with a little help from people like us. So I continued to do this, and there was so much, it was incredible. And I realized that in Worcester, Massachusetts, the areas that have the hardest economic time also have the most environmental problems. So that is my mission, is to change that in some way, to educate people. And I realized that a lot of the homeless shelters in Abby's House, they have a list of things they need, and some of the stuff they needed was sheets and cleaning products. And I thought, why are we not asking for organic cotton sheets? If we're asking for people to buy sheets, they should be buying the right kind of sheets. So that's my goal when I go home, is to change that in that area. I also kept a blog, and that is, if anyone wants to write it down, it's Project Green Anna at Blogspot, and that allowed me to touch the entire world. And so quickly, just to conclude my presentation, I want to ask everyone one thing. As a future hydrologist wanting to start right now, I would like to ask everyone to take care of their water, please, because I do believe that water is the key to everything. And if we can fix our problems around water, then we can change the world, and we can fix all of these environmental problems, because it all has to start somewhere. And there's a unity in all of it, and that is why I think water is so beautiful. And thank you, Project Green Challenge, for allowing me to do all of these amazing things.